enough. It's like
Now,
I
Jeannie,
could.
I have to tell you, and maybe five for me. You know, I think I've done a bang up job in keeping the distractions out of focus.
Here's some resources, and they're like, yeah, I don't trust Trump. I'm like, oh my good Lord in heaven, have mercy on me, because I can't deal with. I could care less about Tucker Carlson. I could care less about whatever her face is. You know, nobody. What does that have to do with what is in front of us? Nothing. There is so much work to do, and people are yammering on about bullshit. I'm so tired of it. It's like,
Well, again, look, I can only, you know, hey, listen, I'm not a bigot. I'm not a guy that will tear you down. I'm just not that guy. And I've been very focused from the very beginning here. So I am more or less just continuing what we started doing. That's it.
yep. I mean, it's just like you can't. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And so the point is get the information out there, and then let God take the care of the rest of it. But it's so important to get that information out there. I took a clip of somebody's thing and I posted it on Facebook. And I have a group of people that kind of follow me on there, but they don't really say anything. You wouldn't believe the number of people who said, "Thank you. Thank you." And it's like, I didn't do anything. I just cut and paste, but here, if you're interested, here it is. So we just need to get the information out there. Okay, I'm going to shut up. I got
You
to go
know,
back to work.
well, I'm sorry you got to work. So,
I know.
you know, but look, hey, it is just a sample that we're putting out there. I'm excited. I'm a little scared too. You know, we're putting ourselves out there a bit, but if we don't step forward, who else is going to step forward? I'm not seeing it. I see the social media influencers worried about themselves. I wish maybe they would support some of the salt movements.
Well, and that's the key, Marlon. It's like the reason why I could care less about all of them. I don't care because they're more concerned about their clicks and the money that's coming in their pocket than they are making a difference. And we care about making a lasting difference for our kids and our grandchildren. And that's our driving force. Um,
Well, hopefully, maybe, you know, maybe it's going to fall on its face. I have no idea, but guess what? We're not going to know that until we step out.
Exactly. You got to go and expose ourselves in a good way.
Well, let's say hello to Miss Kitty. Miss Kitty, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming up.
Yeah, it's good to see you. I don't get that bar on my X anymore that tells me when space, like people that I follow. All of the spaces that I get up there, I don't even know any of those people. If I wasn't in the American X Live chat, I wouldn't even know you were doing spaces anymore.
Hey, isn't that the theme of it, Miss Kitty? You know, don't you think I've been around long enough? I mean, a lot of people do. I'm not saying, hey, I'm the best, and you know, that's not it here. It's the consistency. And you know what, Miss Kitty? The only reason I'm here every day is because I can't stand what's going on. I'm watching people fumble the ball, and if we're not going to do anything to help, then what are we doing here?
Your spaces used to have 300 people in a day.
Well, remember, Miss Kitty, when there was five, remember?
Yeah, yeah, you guys kept them going because Gypsy would have one, and then Advocate would have one, and
And listen, hey, I understand, you know, that people get disenchanted. Things happen on here. I think maybe we should put some of our personal feelings aside being on this app. Um, not as vulnerable. I guess that's the way we got to treat it.
I was listening to Jeannie earlier, and I think what she was saying was save a horse, water a cowboy. I don't know if that's
Okay,
Well,
now, I
you know,
like those cowboys. I gotta admit. You can't lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. That's it.
it's up to the individual. They want to go on, and they don't need somebody to go and hold their hand, and that's cool, right? It's not so much, hey, I'm waiting for this guy to step forward so that I can follow the lead. Let's just there's a lot of letdown on this app too, and I talk about this all the time. The letdown is that sometimes it doesn't correlate from what we're talking in here and what we're seeing in our local communities. There is a letdown there, but you got to press on through that, right? Because a lot of people are going to be getting this magazine link in their email. The congressional and Senate members are also going to get it in their email. So we got a lot of work to do. But again, it's more of just people coming together and making a stand. It's just having a voice. Um, Maybe we can help with that. We'll see. We'll see. And like I said, man, we might fall flat on our faces here. I have no idea. But if you don't try, you're never going to know that.
Marlon, let me know when you want a commercial and I'll do pro menu for you.
Well, that would be great. And guess what, Miss Kitty, we're going to need it. And there's a lot of communities out there that have come in and helped us, and vice versa. If we could just band together just a little bit, maybe I don't know. Let's say hello to Tin, and then maybe we could say hello to Truth.
Hello. I hope you guys are doing well. Marla, I want to say there's something in the air, dude, because uh, Sunday I get an on-call ticket and I helped the customer. I got chewed up by the customer. Then yesterday, um, I was trying to help the customer by debating with my team, and then I get into it with a coworker. That was fun. And then after work, I was in the spaces on and off, and it just seemed like everyone was at each other's throats. And I was like, is there a full moon or something going on? Like, what am I missing?
Guess what? Guess what? The same reactions from new moons actually happen on new moons. And we are on a new moon. She's waning on her last sliver, and that was out this morning. It'll be one more day, and then we'll be at the new moon. Those forces, look, I know how it affects wildlife, and I can see it on the app. You can see it then when it happens. You can hear it.
You can say that again, because holy crap, dude. Last night I was so tired that I fell asleep. And even though I got 8 hours of sleep, today I'm woken up. I still feel like I could go back to bed and sleep another 8 hours because, man, it was draining. But I'm
Well,
glad
I
it's
think
almost over.
Well, I think that's part of it, right? It's how much that you want to be susceptible to the rhetoric going on out there. I'm not very susceptible to it. I don't listen to it, and fortunately, I unfortunately don't have time. Really, I mean, guys. I mean, I enjoy coming in here and what the space is able to provide. I could be definitely making more money if I wasn't doing it, but I feel like we have to. There's no choice in this matter. I just, if we're just going to go back to our regular lives, I'm going to stick my head in the sand and I'm not going to worry about a thing. But I don't want to do that. And I think a lot of other people are in the same aspect here. Maybe this app has been disenchanted a little bit, but you know what? I'm ready for the challenge. I want to put this information out. Maybe, hey, we can get to some of the right people. Maybe some of these people will be looking in over top of the fence. I don't know. And again, you know what? I don't care. I don't care. It's ours. It's our voice. So anyway, again, I'm not here to tell anybody what they should be listening to, or tell anybody that, hey, they shouldn't be talking about this or that. Hey, it's up to the individual. That's what you make out of it. That's what they're going to find out in this world. You know, it's not about your feelings. It's about how much you kind of put yourself out there and what you're willing to risk. Because it is a risk, then, at the end of the day.
I do got one question for Jeannie. Jeannie, is there a way you can hook up an IV of caffeine for me, please?
Oh, I would love to. I would love to. I would also like to do a lot of discovery on how we can rewrite our guidelines for people and get care that is actually good care. So that's my mission. And I think we need nurses and doctors and anybody who wants to join us, create a network so we can start taking care of people because this healthcare system sucks.
But isn't that what the article's all about? Is breaking the addiction here, Jeannie? This
That's
is what
exactly
this
right.
this is what we can do, right? This is something that, hey, we may put the words down on a digital form, but we can make those conversations come alive right here. That's what we need to do. We're sparking interest. There will be a daily component to this thing. You know, hey, again, we're just putting ourselves out there. I'm sure I'll get, we'll all get ridiculed in some way. Somebody will have something smart ass to say. But again, you know what? Just don't care. So, maybe we could say a little truth. Truth, what it is, man. Happy Tuesday.
Okay, if you say so. To keep the space nice and thing, my hat says F your feelings, but it spells it all out if you can. So that's the theme of the day, I guess. F your feelings.
I think we should just leave our feelings at the door, maybe. You know, it's kind of like the job site, right? If you go to a job site and nobody talks to you and you're just kind of doing your own thing, nobody, believe me, they don't like you. If they're breaking your stones and they're busting your stones and laughing at you, that means they like you. You know, it's the same kind of thing here, right? We could take the ridicule. Can we just laugh later?
Yeah, well, the old saying, you talked about health a little bit. A cheerful heart is good medicine. That's biblical, and that's the truth. The less stressed we are, we know stress is a major causer of all kinds of ailments in our bodies. But, yes, the healthcare system is screwed up in so many ways. But really, what leads us to, so many people have so many different ailments and allergies and sicknesses and all this kind of crap, chronic shit, right? So instead of, we're such a reactive society versus being proactive. Thank goodness we have the Maha movement, but that's going to take a while. It's going to take a generation or two, but getting people to have a healthy diet to begin with is going to eliminate a majority of what we're seeing in the hospitals. Healthcare sucks because they don't know how to react, and then they also treat people in a generalized form where each individual has their own unique experience, their own unique allergies, whatever it is, right? So I mean, there's so many facets to health in general. To me, our Western medicine is only good for emergency medicine. As far as any kind of chronic ailments and whatnot, it's so barbaric and backwards. And I've said it before in here that over 90% of medicine or medication comes from a plant derivative, but only 2% of the world's plant population has been studied for medicine. And then they synthesize everything and just take little bits and pieces. So you're really not getting the full medicinal value of an actual plant. Sorry to go off on that stuff, but you trigger me with that whole healthcare that Jeannie was talking about.
Okay,
It's the
well,
best
wait a minute.
system.
Well, wait, Truth. Here's the best part. When you think about some of the foundations that the medical industry is running on, right? Problems, solutions, things that, hey, have been an evolution in medicine all this time. Okay, that's one aspect. But when we start bringing in these other aspects like the ARA, right? Just having a confirmation on what we're eating, where it came from, these are the types of things that we should be questioning our medical system about, right? We're freely accepting any medicine that the nurse goes in and types in the ailment, and then AI pops up with 6 or 8 different types of medicine that you can try, right? Not saying, hey, here's the one that's most effective. No, let's give you 5 or 6 or 8 of them to pick from. Oh, let's try this one today. I think
Well,
it's more the assumption, dude.
yeah, but do you think it's any kind of coincidence that a lot of these big food companies that are poisoning us sponsor hospitals, and most of the pharmaceutical companies that are giving us medication pay for the hospitals and doctors' salaries? I mean, come on, it can't be coincidence, right?
Well, it's just like Politico. Everybody looked at Politico. Oh man, this is the word. It's a pay to play, man. If you got the money, dude, they're gonna put the story in there, no matter
Well,
what the spec is.
yeah, just like some of these things that I'm seeing on a bunch of these posts of people claiming to be a veteran or whatever, and like, dude, it's so this is screwed up. We've just got this. Everybody's messed up. Just blackpilling the crap out of people. Enough is enough. Nothing's gonna change. It's like, dude, using the veteran card to do anything like that to try to blackpill people or whatever. I'm just so sick of it. I'm so tired of it. Yes, things are messed up. What are you doing about it, you freaking idiot? Instead of complaining and trying to blackpill people.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, where is the line? Okay, they have all these bitches, they have all these complaints, but they have no solutions. There's the debate, but there's no solutions on the table. I voted for Trump 3 times, but well, what's your replacement?
I call I call bullshit on that. When if somebody says that, I'm already no bullshit. Whatever you're going to say next is total bullshit.
Well,
Like that it's just a thing now. They've been stirring this up, saying that there's so many MAGA that aren't MAGA anymore, and Trump is ruined his thing. It's just bullshit. There's nobody I know that voted for Trump that is now anti-Trump. Not one. And I know a lot of damn people. It's just
look,
crap.
I know there's some questions out there and some questionable things that's going on. I think this is where Mary Tyler Green screwed up. Here's Trump just ushering back into corporate. Oh, here we go. And the frustration forced her to really resign out of Congress. And it developed a vacancy is what it did. And at the end of the day, it's about understanding the problems. Again, I go back to inexperience with her, right? She may have been great, a great business person, but wasn't ready for the politic end, right?
No, I think she,
When it went,
dude, I think she ran out of the freaking what is it? What was that stupid movie? Eyes Wide Shut ceremony. I think she saw it. She's like, nope, I'm out, and ran out, and then she was done.
well, let's go ahead, Jeannie, and then we'll go to you, Jeff.
Yeah, fed up. You really hit some nails on the head there. Um,
There's not set ups up here, honey.
I'm sorry. Who was that talking?
Ruth.
Truth. Okay, sorry. Go on out of here. My dog was whimpering at me. You really hit some nails on the head because that's exactly right. I think that some people are just so easily swayed though. I was in a space this morning with goats and I'm like, come on, guys. You got to think harder than that. If um and there's so much grease and dirt on X now that we just have to, it's kind of like the Bud Light thing. Just stop consuming it. Just stop consuming it. Go to where it's honest reporting or honest honest purpose, right? I'm only here. One of my favorites is Doug TenNapel because we're the Happy Patriots, and I'm a Christian, and I'm here to kind of decipher all this crap for you. And here you go, right? It's not whenever and Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's all about the money. Every single time, every single time someone falls, it's because of money. So I just am over it.
Money's the root of all evil. You know, there's a necessary evil there, though. You know, and look, and again, I think it's more of people the way that they use their personal feelings in here, and people are very upset when something doesn't go their way, or somebody's talking about something that they don't agree with, and they didn't get their hand to get up there. I mean, there's a lot of people struggling there. I think some of the feelings need to be set aside. Let's go to Joe, and then we'll go to Tim.
Yeah, somebody brought up healthcare, and I would have used the Harriet Tubman quote, except it wasn't one. So instead, I'll use Crocodile Dundee. So some guy comes at him with a knife, and he says, "That's not a knife. This is a knife." Well, healthcare isn't healthcare. It's management of symptoms, and usually it's more damaging. Like if you have a thyroid condition, like Graves' disease, what do? Destroy the thyroid. They don't check for toxins. They don't even look. And the toxins in our environment and also those injected, are the cause of most of our illnesses. Get rid of the toxins, the body remembers how to work, and eat a healthy diet. Now, as far as glyphosate goes, I know Trump declared it as a national security threat, and I support Trump, and I don't agree with it being a national security threat. I think the health of the American people is. But in response, I'm making my own bread and pasta now using flour that doesn't have glyphosate in it, so I can preserve what copper is in my body. But I think you're saying it's going to take generations. I disagree. I think the parents are waking up, and as more parents wake up to the root causes of their illnesses of their own childhood, they're going to start waking up to realize, oh, I was poisoned, and my kids were poisoned worse. So I think even this generation can be recovered, the youngest generations. And what I've done is a piece of the puzzle. Other people that got other pieces of the puzzle, and once we start getting out there, getting some exposure, I think we're going to make a real difference. That's all. Dropping the mic.
Well, you know what, Joe? It's the assumption that the medical system is doing the right thing. Again, it goes back to the nurse that puts your ailment into the computer. AI produces 5 or 6 or 8 different medications. We're assuming that these medications are doing the right thing. How about getting back to a baseline, right? Understanding the toxins and do a full workup. You know why they don't do that? Because it costs money. So
It's also profitable.
Exactly, right? There's no money in it. If they came out with a cure for cancer tomorrow, well, then the industry would fall apart. But I think we're seeing signs of things that are out there actually combating this, right? Understanding that, cancer may be a thing here, right? We're dealing with something that we're misinformed about. Let's just say hello to Tim, and then maybe we can say hello to Perry, Ringo, Shell popped up. So, everybody heard the discussions yesterday and about the 13-year-old being on here, and there's a lot of things there. So, go ahead, Tim.
I just want to comment on you guys were talking about the people being swayed and everything. I think we just all need to get in a circle and give each other a hug and just sing kumbaya. And I'll land there. I'm sorry. I'm still looking up. Yeah, a hug. A big bear hug. That's what everyone needs.
Dude, if you bring a hacky sack tinfoil, that's going to be the end of it right there.
Sounds like a circle jerk. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? Let's maybe we can go on. Hey, Terry, how you doing this morning? And then we'll go to you, Ringo, and then maybe we'll give Shell a minute or two and see what you've got coming up on the Rab Manic Show today. Go ahead, Terry. How you doing, man? Happy Tuesday.
Hey, happy Tuesday, Marlon and Truth, and following 10 there. I'm want to make sure I was in the right space. The circle thing. But at any rate, just reposted this the space. Everyone, please just push that bill and give them a like and a repost. There's so much good content here. I was listening to Truth earlier, and you know, people they complain a lot. They complain and they complain and they complain, but they don't offer the solution. A lot of these spaces you go to, it's 90% complaining and little flashes of how to correct things, and it just gets to be such a black pill. But I think we really need to take account for what's really good in our life and what's good and what's going on right now. Kamala could be the president. You know, I was watching an interview of her the other day, and they asked her, are you considering running in 28?" Yes, I'm considering running. Yeah, and she's in that laugh of hers. I just can't deal with we must be unburdened by what has been. The passage of time. She had no substance because they didn't want her to have substance. They were going to tell her what to say if she got into office. So when I get up, I try to look at what's positive in my life, and I'm very thankful for it, while also acknowledging there's a lot of things that really could be fixed. But let me get a little more caffeine in me and see what I can do to help contribute maybe more to this space, and if I can. Very humbled to be on here as one of your speakers. Thank you, Marla.
I think Marlon stepped away for a second. No.
No, I'm here. I'm good. And something just happened, and maybe I'll bring it up to the next two people here. And it's very easy to see when the suppression happens, especially on this app. You talk about something, you talk about liberating people, you talk about freedoms. This app is not working for you at that point. And look, I get a lot of complaints in the background. Why aren't you showing up? Why can't I see your faces? I have no idea. I have no clue. All I can do is keep fighting every day.
Really quick to respond a little bit to something that Terry brought up about, all this black pilling and everybody complaining, and no resolution, nothing that, like, how do we fix this? I look at it too, like when people kind of call upon God, whether they believe in him or not, of course, in the worst times in their life and something's difficult's going on. It seems like it's part of human nature instead of to be grateful and thankful for what you do have. Whenever I get into that kind of mode of just being a selfish prick, I seem to always drive past or walk past somebody who's in a wheelchair or has, something else that, is far more difficult to deal with than my own crap. Right. And if we could turn that around to where we're coming from a place of gratefulness and hopefulness, and yes, acknowledging the crap we got to deal with, but then dealing with it and making, taking action, massive action, right? And a lot of these spaces seem like echo chambers or whatnot, but like he was saying, a majority of them are unfortunately just bitching and moaning and complaining and talking crap about other spaces and other people. And it's just like, my God, dude, what is the point? Who gives a crap about your feelings? That's why I think going back to our theme, F your feelings. There you go.
Gabe, you mean that we'll say hello to Ringo?
Yeah, I was in a space and it reminded me of Truth yesterday, and I could not escape the conversation. I was flipping through spaces saying, come on. They were talking about this 13-year-old kid. And then one of them had this kid on. And the whole time I'm like, are you kidding me? And then I remembered what Truth said. He said, if a 13-year-old shows up in a space, I'm out. And that's exactly right. I listened a little bit to the debates of people, what the women want to protect him, and the men are saying, hell no. That was an interesting component, but I'm with Truth. I don't want to hear from a 13-year-old. And there's no place for me to be in a space with a 13-year-old trying to rationalize with them. Not gonna happen. That
Wait a
is
minute.
not-
I don't think people are realizing the implications.
No,
If you were talking to the child and influence this child to do something in the background, regardless of whether, hey, you thought it was innocent or not, you're liable.
yeah,
You are.
the men were the rational ones. That's what, and let's face it, men and women are different. Women want to protect him and keep him from the harms of spaces. And the men were like, no way.
Dude, I'm sorry. The moment anybody found out that that was a child, he should have 0 followers. Every freaking adult should have been an adult and unfollowed and been done. Like, come on, be adults, be a parent.
Again, I don't want to be consumed with this, but I don't think that people are actually looking at the liability of it. Tinfoil, did you want to add in, and we go to Ringo?
Yeah, yeah. This is gonna get a little serious on this topic, and what I said last night about it. And this is coming from a search and rescue and an IT background. Guys, the ones that are trying to protect this kid, you guys can't protect him on this platform. This platform wasn't built for us. It was built for predators. And all it's going to take is some nefarious person to send this kid a DM with an interesting looking link. He'll click it, and he'll download a piece of software called a rootkit, and it'll infiltrate his phones where they'll have access to every little bit of that device, including the hard drive, the processes, the camera, the microphone, the GPS, even the IEMI number. And all it's going to take is they'll track that kid long enough, and the moment he is vulnerable, that's when they'll nab him. And by the time the people realize that they're trying to protect him, they're not thinking about the time it's going to take to call 911 for that 911 dispatch to call over to the dispatch where the kid lives, get hold of the police, the time for police to respond, and by the time the police actually get there, it's too late. He's gone. And there's very little chance they'll get him back. And a lot of people are not thinking that through, and that's all I have to say about it, because it's
They're
not
going to be knocking
fun.
on your door. They're going to be knocking on your door, man.
And if anyone wants to know firsthand, it's not fun watching a detective going up to a parent telling their kid's not coming home. That's something I will remember the rest of my life. And I do not wish that on anyone. No parent, not even a fellow searcher, because that was heart wrenching.
Well, listen, hey, and I don't want this subject to consume us. I think there's a lot of other productive things that we can be talking about. But you know what? I felt like, hey, in the bottom of my heart, I wanted people to realize there would be no way that this particular space would engage in anything like that. As soon as I heard the child was under 18, I look. Well, we've had people in here in New Jersey. There's one kid that came in, and he was 17 when he came on, and he was in the space on his 18th birthday. I felt a lot better about conversing with this kid after he was 18. Well, anyway, and you know what? It's not just this space. Ringo, you're dealing with it. Shell, you're dealing with it. Anybody who's running space, Iron, you're dealing with it. So just maybe your opinion, Ringo.
The return to normalcy. That's what we've always been preaching since we elected Trump. That we want to take our country back, that we want to make things back the way it was, because that was the way normal Americans functioned, and we recognize boys, girls, and the protection of children. This is a heavy subject, especially because I was one of the ones that broke it in my space. I get a lot of pushback from people that are not happy that I'm voicing my opinion to say that this is not correct, and my position on this. This is a position for me. It's not just me spouting stuff out in the darkness about nonsense. It's not nonsense. It's something that's affecting our daily lives. This is not the only child. I believe that this is a Pandora's box, if you will. They're opening the door for children to actually start being active in in X, and it's dangerous, and it's uncalled for, it's unjustified, it's wrong, it's what the left does. We want to say that we're conservatives and that we believe in certain things, but then, like, I heard someone just previous, like 2 speakers back, the young lady or the lady that was speaking. I'm sorry, I can't see who you were, but thank you for those words, because it weighs heavy on me. You know why I know it weighs heavy? Because I fell asleep early yesterday, and then I realized today when I woke up to get up to go to work about an hour or two ago that this was weighing down on me. It's having its effect because I can't understand the dissonance, the failure in judgment and discernment by some of the people on our side, and they're our friends, and they're mad at me and a couple people because it's my space, where I heard it in another space and I started a space because I was like, this can't be happening. They're opening a door that once we open it, it will not close. It will not close. And the call to action needs to happen. It's not just this child. There's going to be others if we don't do or say something. I get the fact that women want to be mama bears and protect, but that is not the way. There's only one way. When you want something to not happen, you don't put your hand in the fire. You make sure your hand stays out of the fire. I don't think people understand this. And yeah, this subject consumed a lot of spaces after me, Ali, and Brandy, and Shell, and Patriot, all of us, people that come to my space, you guys know how it rolls. I call it Rigo and the gang because it's not just me. It's a group, you know what I mean? We all talk about this. Sorry, Shell, I didn't mean to upset you, but I'm just saying, we all advocate for the child protection, and we're all in our spaces talking about this, and it's just not fair. And by the way, the people that are attacking conservatives and going at personal items, especially sensitive personal items about their lives and about things that happen to any of us, you're cruel. You call us bullies or you call somebody else bullies, you're the bully. Whoever it was that said these nasty things, you're the bully. You're the one that put out stuff that you shouldn't. You should shut your mouth. You should learn how to be an adult and not hurt other people because you think this is what I'm going to say to get a rise or a click or to look like a smartass. F you, man. Straight up. Those are just my thoughts this morning. And yeah, it's weighing heavy on me, Marlon. Thank you.
Start, dude. And guess what? Maybe, hey, today you can get a little confidence back in it, and don't let it bother you. And these people are doing it just to stir the pot to get clicks and likes on their own side. So how bad is it? Yeah, it's really bad. So why don't we just stay focused like you guys are doing? Talk about the things that Shell's show is doing, or Iron's doing, or Allie's doing, or Joe, or Tinfoil, anybody in here. So that's what I'm up for. I am definitely not susceptible to this. I felt in my gut very first thing when I heard that, man, this is a bad move. And it would be coming up and corrupting a kid in front of a convenience store. I mean, that's basically what you're doing. Again, Ringo, I wouldn't let it dampen your spirit, dude. I really, we already have enough adversity to fight on this app. As long as, hey, man, again, we're not all kissing and spooning in the background here, but we are a community and we are conversing back and forth and putting out the right messages. That's what I feel. That's what I want to do. That's why I'm here.
Thank you, Marlon. Appreciate you.
Man. Don't let it weigh on you.
Marlon, you in truth aren't spooning. I thought I pegged you for Little Spoon.
I've been trying to spoon, but nobody will.
Golly, good Lord. First off, Marlon is in Jersey, which I will never be in, so that ain't gonna happen.
I know. I'm just poking some fun.
Well, you know what? We should be, Allie. If you didn't like me, Allie, you wouldn't come up here and poke at me. And that's what the community is. You can't buy that. You cannot buy it. And we're working together to build the confidence between us. That's what I feel like we're doing. Even on this app, this shit does not happen overnight. I've seen so many groups come and go. I've been susceptible to this my own. Look, I'm not letting anything deter with the projects that we are working on. And we're working on serious things. It may not be the sexiest talk, but at the end of the day, if it would change your life, it'd be worth it. I don't even need the pat. I don't need the pat on the back. I really don't. And then I'm sorry, Truth. Maybe we'll get Shell and maybe Iron can throw in there. And Truth, I got to step away a second.
Yeah, no worries, dude. Just FYI for Shakes, Piper McGee, I've been trying to bring you up. I don't know what's happening. You might have to drop out and come back in. All right, go ahead there,
Your
Shell.
panel's full. It needs another co-host. You've got 10 speakers.
Ah, there you go. Thank you. Go ahead, Shell.
I will decline this conversation. They brought my children in. They brought my children into this, and I have to have a lawyer. I've retained a lawyer. So just know that I will not participate in any of this now.
I don't
Just to
blame
be
you. Hair.
clear, yeah, just to be clear for the room, the child, the minor in discussion is not Shell's child. So just so that there's no confusion, but with the backlash back and forth and the slinging of arrows, Shell got caught unfairly, and her children and grandchildren were brought in, and that children are off limits, no matter what. No matter what. That's what we're talking about here.
You know what, Shell? You just gave me a great idea. You know what? That's the end of that conversation, right? And you know what? I don't care if I ever speak about it again.
Here, here.
That's why we're vulnerable. That Shell, great, good move. And you know what? I'm going to take your lead, and that's the last time I'll be talking about it. Okay, Truth, and then maybe we can hear from Iron real quick. I haven't.
Yeah, I
heard
was
from
just
him.
gonna say go to Iron. He was gonna go next.
I was just
Iron,
going
how
to
you
say,
doing?
good man. How are you guys? How you doing, Truth? I just followed you, brother. Thank you guys for doing this space. If this is a good time to change subjects, we're actually going to go focus on the real issues. And Allie is going to join us next Monday at 7:00, and as our guest on Liberty X Happy Hour. And we're going to talk all about her organization, child sex trafficking. And this is a space I don't think you guys want to miss, because this is very personal to both myself and Fido. Men don't talk about when they're victims of any kind of sex crime, and we're going to be pretty open about it as both a host, myself, and my co-host Fido. So we're going to talk about our personal stories, but we're really going to be there to learn about Allie and her organization and how we can get out there and help people donate to her organization, help her continue the work, the important work that she's doing to protect children. And I have no comment at all on this particular topic, other than if there is a legal fund, I will be donating massive dollars to it if needed. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Thanks for coming up. Is there any issue besides what you just mentioned about your upcoming space, but is there anything in particular that's on your mind today with the theme of F your feelings?
I didn't know that was the topic of today, but I will say this. You know what? I'm scared of the conversation, but as far as my feelings go, I don't talk about them a lot. I don't think a lot of men talk about them a lot. So I'll just save it for Monday, because it usually takes me a bit to recover when I talk about my own story. So I'll keep my feelings, like most men do, to the heart for now. And I got to prep myself to talk about shit like this.
Yeah, I gotcha.
If I may, Marlon asked about the Manus show today. There is no Manus show today. There will be a best of on Worldview Tube at 3 p.m. Eastern. But the Colonel had to cancel today. His schedule is very fluid right now. We hope to be back tomorrow. We have secured a great guest, and it should be a very good show tomorrow.
Cool. Awesome.
Are you going to do a placeholder today? Or
Oh, no.
stand up, Shell, and do the best stuff?
Yeah, no.
No. Okay.
No, I do have Randy Fine on deck though, Congressman Randy Fine. So we'll get that situated here very soon, and I'll get you the dates for that. And let's keep working. Let's keep going.
Yeah, and throw stuff down the pill so that people can know what's going on. And then I'm trying to bring people up, but I guess we're full until Marlon grabs another co-host. So be patient. We'll transfer through. Miss Kitty's got her hand up. It's the only one I see.
Joe had his hand up before me, so I'll go after Joe.
Let's see. Yeah, thank you.
Hey,
I can't
Truth,
see
I
it.
can drop down and make room on the stage. I'm
getting
actually
no-
about to board my flight, so I'll be listening, but I won't be able to speak. So I'll drop down. Love you guys. Have a great show.
Safe travels, Allie.
I was getting ready to say I'm getting ready to leave after Joe goes.
Okie dokie. Joe, go ahead, buddy.
Alrighty. First off, he was 11, not 13. That's all I'm going to talk about that. Other than to recognize, I heard another key place that he played is on Discord, and Discord is primarily focused on game servers. That said, it's almost time for me to build up my Minecraft server that my daughter and I are pretty creative in, and to integrate it into Discord. But the involvement with my daughter online, I've done my best to make her aware of every kind of let's call it attack or the manipulations. And one thing I did miss out on, though, Tinfoil brought up, I haven't made her aware of bad links that can cause hijacking of hardware. So that'll be the next thing. But she's very aware of the environment she's in and the predatory nature of people that might want to hurt her. And whenever something comes up, she tells me it happened, not the other way around. I don't have to second guess anything. And I think that begins with the parents putting the right mindset into the mind of the children that when they're online, they are potentially a target. And as far as the following of minors, statistically, it's not a good idea, especially if you're a male over 40, because then you're automatically, uh, let's say, stereotyped into a certain class of people that you may or may not be. People who follow minors, they're setting themselves up for a trap. It's just not a good idea. And I'll drop the mic there.
All right, Joe. Thank you very much. I know we got a few hands. Then we can Miss Kitty, and then we'll go back and forth between Raging and Sovereign. I think those are the hands I see.
Yeah, my phone don't let me stay up as speaker for very long before kicking me out. So I wanted to go ahead and hurry up and get in a commercial before it does. So here we go, guys. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for this important message from our sponsor. We hope you enjoy your time here, and we are the people with your host, Marlon. If you're enjoying your time here, please like and retweet this space. This space is brought to you by important fake news from around the world. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jaime Frijo Daily with this segment of important fake news from around the world. We start a report in Jolly England. Reportedly, several people were just arrested in front of the King's Guard. According to the arresting officers, these individuals exhaled in a way that sounded like a prayer. Chief Inspector Kunzvahaya went on to explain that one of the arrestees were immediately released after sneezing in a way that sounded like Achua. Now we head under the globe to Australia. Reportedly, the Australian government is working hand in foot with kangaroo ranchers to figure out how to make the best kangaroo curry to appease their replacements. Let's see in other news. We head to Sweden, where allegedly all the women in Sweden are wearing internal condoms made out of pork skins to avoid sexual assaults. Now, in other news, several hundred people have lined up outside the White House, hoping to be healed by President Trump. Reportedly, JFK Jr. was seen being escorted away from the Rose Garden after picking roses for Rosie O'Donnell. No, I'm sorry, that's Joan Rivers, after allegedly picking roses for Joan Rivers. And finally, as a public service announcement, dingleberries are neither a dingle nor do they berry. No, dingleberries do neither dingle nor they are a berry. That concludes this segment of important big news from around the world. I'm your reporter, and I'm a Freeport Daily, signing off.
Miss Kitty, you missed your calling, man.
I know, right?
Oh my God, that's hilarious. you know what? Hey, to make light, and you kind of wrapped up all the content that's been week. That was awesome. Good job, Miss Kitty.
Thank you. You guys have a great day. I love y'all.
You got to come back. We got to do that every morning now. Hilarious. Truth, what'd you say? Sovereign was next.
I believe so.
Sovereign, how you doing? Welcome up. Good to see you.
Good morning, everybody. Good day to you all. I'm just curious. I want to get the temperature on this Eric Swalwell thing. Does anybody think this is going to open up this can of worms and really oust him, or are we just looking at a nothing burger again? And I would like to add that I believe that once he resigns, he should not be allowed a pension either. We should not be paying a pension for a sexual assault perpetrator.
Yeah, but
Well,
that's just it, Sovereign. If everybody knew how many millions of dollars go through your county to defend these people, you would understand the abuse. The only people that are making money are the lawyers in on it. It's so bad. It is so bad. It's even to the point where, you know what, in my county last year, there was a dog named Amber. I've talked about this a couple of different times. Here is a county official, a county employee in a county truck, pulls the truck up to the bar, the county-owned bar, right, and leaves the dogs in the back of the truck. And unfortunately, the AC unit quit, and the dogs perished right there on the scene. No, there was this big thing that went around, and realistically, this guy was advised by our county board to take a county backhoe and dig a hole in his backyard, bury the two dogs, use the township mulch and machines to put it back together, and nobody will ask a thing. Our board advised these people to do this. Now, it went all the way up to the AG. The AG got the case. I still don't know the numbers. Sovereign, I think it's got to be $7 or $8 million that they spent on this investigation about this dog. Now, if you don't see the abuse that I see, I asked for this right when it came out, right when it changed from the DA in Gloucester County to the AG in the state of New Jersey. So, Sovereign, what you're speaking of is no joke. And every one of these issues by John Q. taxpayer, though that county board is given a lawyer that takes care of it and charges the county an absorbent amount of money. So you want to see how ugly it is? You know, how many other cases are rolling through that we're not hearing about, so.
I like the fact that she says, another nothing burger. Can anybody name a something burger that we ate? Because I'm a little hungry right now.
A lot of people don't like that nothing burger. Yeah. Go ahead, Ringo, and then we'll go to Kelly Miles.
Well, I didn't know that the Colonel Manus wasn't gonna be having a day show. I know you hear me down there. In spite of that, I'm gonna go ahead and do a pop-up space somewhere around 9:30. I mean, I'm thinking like after your space, maybe about 9:30ish, maybe 10. Pop-up space, and the title will not have to do with 13-year-olds or any of that stuff. The title and the subject that I want to breach is influencer worship. When do influencers think they're above other people and they think they have supreme power over smaller accounts or anybody else? I think it's an important conversation to have where influencers think that they could say and do anything. We're talking about these big accounts. We know who they are. There's a whole bunch of them. And what makes them think that we're going to follow and believe everything that they say? It's just blowing my mind, the influencer worship on here. And that's one of the things that is driving some of the misinformation and the divisions, because they want people to follow them. They feel like, oh, look, do what I say. You're mine. No, you're not. Either you're part of the community or you're not, and we need to break this. We need to break the influencer worship, where people are holding themselves to try, where the power of influencing has taken them to the absolute corruption, right? Power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. So that's going to be the subject and the theme that I want to breach. And we will talk about Swalwell and a couple other political names, but we're going to stay away from the heavy subject that's been going on if we can. Thank you. Hope you guys join me. Look out for the pop-up space. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Ringo. And yeah, hey, I think it's a viable conversation, right? You got to understand, I'm not pounding my chest, but I can tell you over the last 4 or 5 years of being on this app and doing what we're doing, a lot of those same people you're talking about used to sit in here and listen. I'll be honest with you, I probably gave them half of the content because we were talking about it when nobody else was. And I'm talking about a lot of the different things. I'm talking about the East Coast wind. I'm talking about logistics. I'm talking about everything that I took upon myself to tear apart. They would come in and anonymous listen, or, some of them would just sit in the space, never contribute, right? And that's okay. Hey, I'm not saying, hey, everything I got to say is worth print, but I can tell you right now that, they are not who they seem. That's okay. And guess what? I'm not the judge and jury. You know who is the judge and jury? The community's the judge and jury. They're the ones that call it out. So you know what? Whether or not they get retribution back from the app because of the devious things that they've been soliciting these people and raping these people and using this device and app to do it, I don't feel bad for them. But what I'm not going to do, Ringo, is I'm not going to change my focus. I'm going to continue on the projects that we're working on. And guess what, brother? Nobody is going to be able to change it. So they can try all they want because, Ringo, they've been trying for years, brother. And that's why we don't get the participation. That's because they know, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to wrangle us into that community. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. And that's why we get ignored. That's why we have dark marketing that goes against every one of your spaces and mine and Shell's and studying guides and Carmen and Gypsy and all the people that have joined in for all these years. Dude, you don't think they get suppressed? Those spaces should be thousands thick. All right. And the app is definitely working against this. And it's a pay to play. If you don't pay, you don't play. And they set the algorithm up to do that, Ringo. So make no mistake. Sorry about the rant but hey, I think it's a great subject, dude. I'll try and join in. And let's go to Kelly. Kelly, how you doing? And then we can go to Miles. And I don't know if Shake got a chance to speak up, but go ahead, Kelly.
Good morning. Great morning to everybody. Yeah, I just want to reply to what Sovereign said. Eric, if this was a nothing burger, I don't believe he would have resigned from Congress. I think the can of worms has been opened, and I think the next one that's going to get hit is Adam Schiff, which I'm so hoping for. He's about as crooked as they come. But my big question is, how long did Pam Bondi know about all this? Was she covering it up? How long is what I want to know. That's my big question of the day, because it's been reported that they're such good friends, that's my big question.
Wait a minute. Hey, shows how much I pay attention because I don't have a damn television. You're saying Swalwell resigned from Congress?
Yes, he did.
Holy crap. I had no idea. Wow.
Yep, he resigned yesterday or Saturday night, Sunday morning, or Monday morning. I think it's been real recent, but yeah, he's out.
Oh, wow. I wonder if he struck a deal like either you resign or we put you away forever. Who knows? I had no idea. Holy crap.
Hey, Truth, I'm sorry there, Kelly. Definitely let you finish up. And Truth, I got to step away, man.
Yeah, so, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. And the Democrats are claiming, especially Nancy Pelosi, that they had no idea what was going on with him. They're all a bunch of liars. They're just liars. And I'll end there. You guys have a great day.
Well, thank you, Kelly. Thank you for telling me, because Here I am up here helping Marlon co-hosting, talking about politics, and I have no damn idea what's going on. That's funny. Who was next? Terry, do you remember? Did he say Miles and then Julie
Yeah,
and Shakes? Yeah.
it's
Okay. Go ahead.
it's Miles and Julie.
Good morning, everyone. So Swalwell and everybody else in that different country and District of Columbia have immunity. He's going to lose his immunity, and they're going to go after him criminally. He'll probably wind up in prison, so don't worry about him. But the reason that happened was there's a jungle primary that they have in California, and the two top candidates were the GOP guys. So it was going to almost guarantee that you're going to have a Republican governor out in California. So they had to get rid of him. And then, of course, Katie Porter, which she's just an angry woman. She's going to, probably have to bail out too because of all her back history. So they're going to, probably steal. They've been stealing the elections out there, but they had to have a Democrat in the primary to move forward. So they had to get rid of Swalwell. But yeah, they have so much immunity when they're in Congress or in the Senate. That's why they have their little slush fund if they're like fooling around, you know what I mean? To bail him out, and they have the lawyers and stuff. But yeah, don't worry about him. I don't know who the next domino to fall is, but just pay attention. It'll be interesting. Thanks.
Thanks, Miles. Appreciate it, bud. I think it was Julie, then Shakes, and then Texas.
Well, hello, friends and family. So, well, a couple things. So, on the Swalwell, yes, I put down below the press release from the House Ethics Committee. So, they are investigating him for ethics violations, code of conduct, all that stuff, since it was a staffer that accused him. So, there's that. We've known forever he's a criminal. The whole Fang, and a lot of questions with his residency. So anyway, yeah, they needed to pick him off. I don't know, Tom Steyer, the billionaire, is kind of starting to get some play as the leader. But again, the jungle primary still could mean that the two Republicans are going to get the most votes. So whoever's the top two that get the most votes and on June 2nd, we'll move forward. So anyway, so there's that. And Matt Mahan, too, the San Jose City mayor, is getting a lot of press because he's getting a lot of funding from the tech bros. So he's a Silicon Valley guy, kind of slick, kind of looks, got the hair, the whole thing. So anyway, look for Matt Mahan to get some play and wherever, let the chips fall where they may. So you can see I've got a new profile picture. That's my mother. So I'm doing a project with Betrayal Project USA. I put the link down below. We have put together a lot of education opportunities starting on Sunday and running for the full week as part of National Crime Victims' Rights Week. So every year the country has a month, which is April, and then a week, which this year starts on Sunday the 19th for a week to celebrate, kind of is a weird word, but honor victims of crimes. And so what we're doing is we're trying to say these medical crimes, the hospital protocols, the vaccines, are crimes. We need recognition that they're crimes. So I put the link down below. If you know anyone that died of a hospital protocol, the vaccine, shoot, there's now nursing homes and hospice crimes. It's a whole thing. So there's a memorial wall. And so if you go to the Betrayal Project, look at the links up in my profile, my pin post, etc. You can literally see, you guys, it's so impactful. Go to the memorial wall and look at the faces. Look at the faces of who's been, lives have been destroyed by these COVID policies that nobody's been held to account for either. So it's a pretty powerful wall. It's kind of the 9/11-ish thing. And on Sunday, we're literally going to read names starting at 3 o'clock Pacific time. We're going to read name by name by name by name by name. And hopefully we'll get about 10,000 registered there, which is still just a fraction. So anyway, thank you all for having me up and talking California and yeah, the medical freedom movement. Oh, I will tell you this too, you guys, with the kid, just since I went into that space where he was, because I want to learn all angles and learn all sides. I went on stage and gave the kid medical advice. Okay. You let that sink in. Now, I told him to check all the resources I put in the purple pill for vaccines, but I told him not to take one vaccine ever again. He did admit that the COVID vaccine him and his family didn't take, but that he still was a fan of the flu vaccine. And I think tetanus, I said, please go do your research. But just let that sink in. I just gave the kid, a 13-year-old, medical information, medical advice. Not appropriate to have kids on social media platforms. And hopefully he'll listen to me and not some pro-vaccine, poison pusher, which could very well happen. So anyway, I'm glad that we're working this out. So anyway, thanks, Marlon. Thanks, Truth. Thanks, Terry. Good to see you guys.
You know what? Quickly, Julie, you're right. It's almost like, hey, I understand how they had gotten in the middle. I would, it would depend on maybe that day or, hey, we're just trying to influence. I understand that the innocence of what we were trying to do, I say we, because it was a lot of people in the community. And unfortunately, that hearing what the repercussions were that came out of that, it's disheartening in my eyes. And I don't know. I guess we just got to be careful. That's all there is to it.
Had Shakes in Texas next. And after that, I think it's Paul and Jeannie.
What's up, Jake?
Marlon, Truth, Terry, and everybody else that's up here. I think the words that we need to remember right now is a good thoroughbred of a poker face while we hold up this Texas Hold'em game of finding the, I guess, the hedgehog to hunt. But, I appreciate everybody here. I appreciate the time. Appreciate everybody echoing the God of love.
Amen. I know there's lots to talk about, but we'll bring it back full circle at the end here. Texas, thanks for your patience, bud. What's up?
Good morning, John. I'm of the mind that I don't care how Swalwell's gone, as long as he's gone. Now we just need to focus on getting him put in prison where he belongs, because he's a criminal. He's a pervert. But I mean, think about it. How many of them are? I mean, that they've hid the same way they've hid everything that Swalwell's done. So, maybe this is moving in the right direction. It don't matter. These people need to be taken out. But I wanted to come in this morning and ask for y'all's prayers, man. My wife's father had to be rushed to the hospital yesterday morning, 6:30. He had an aortic aneurysm, and they were supposed to do surgery yesterday, but they went in. They found he had kidney infection. They wouldn't do the surgery until after they got that under control. So he's in the hospital, and they have scheduled the surgery for 2 p.m. today. So y'all please say a prayer for my family. Me and Dick never was close. Matter of fact, we're not close at all, but my wife and my daughter love him, so what affects him affects me. So please say a prayer. He's 75, 76 years old, and we just dug out of a hole, getting everything back together. Us both going to work and everything. This is the last thing we need right now. So please say a prayer for him. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Man, I'll have to just say, man, that's just one of many stories we heard over the last couple of days. I mean, James's kid there, and man, I don't know. Sheesh, hold together, say some prayers. Prayers do work. James was a testimony of that yesterday.
Well, and also Miss Gypsy, I don't know if people remember, Gypsy almost died twice, and she's a living miracle because the power of prayer. It really does work. Man, I wish like X would make like a scroll on the bottom reminding people to like and repost so we don't have to say it every damn time. But less than half of the people in here have been kind enough to do so. So just a friendly reminder, It's a lot better when somebody else says it, but I'm the only one saying it, so please do that. I don't know who was next. I think it was Paul and Jeannie.
Yeah, Paul and Jeannie.
All going once.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. Sorry, how was it? I thought I heard something else that I didn't realize was my name. How you doing, Marlon? How you doing this morning?
Great, man. Great day. Springtime's coming, and we got a project coming on the table tomorrow. Fall could be better.
Right on, right on. Well, you know, I just wanted to come on here and make a couple points and some observations I've been making these last, couple of days, last couple of weeks, and I think someone who's a list of people who must be extremely happy right now are the ones that were on the president's post a few days ago, which was like the Tucker and Kelly and all them. They love the Pope, let me tell you, because the entire focus of the public went from them to the Pope. So if anyone's a fan of the Pope, it's got to be them, because nobody's really talking about that post anymore. And then now they got the entire masses right now focused on the Pope. So I started asking myself, I'm always questioning the government. I don't care who's in power. I'm never going to stop having some sort of suspicion about what's going on, what are they doing. So I'm always looking at things from that lens. And boy, do they have us so distracted. I mean, they got us wrapped around their finger collectively is what I see. If they say look left, the majority of the society just looks left. They say look right, look right. Trump is a master manipulator and has like everybody doing and looking exactly where he wants them to look. But me, I'm always, when they say look this way, I'm looking elsewhere because I want to know, well, what is it that they don't want us to see? So we're talking about Swalwell, and that's a big deal. But, I remember going into the election when everybody was wondering who the vice president was going to be. I used to watch a lot of Dan Bongino then. And Dan, for a long time, would say, show after show after show, well, the vice president's, a big deal and all, but not really. He was like, whoever it is, they're going to do their job. And it's just not as important as what he felt was the most important appointment in the cabinet that he knew needed to be made because of the horrible job that Merrick Garland did before. And that was the attorney general. And he used to say that that's the single most important cabinet appointment that needs to be made. And yet, I don't hear a lot of people be giving fair criticism about the absolute failure that Pam Bondi was. Right? And it was clear as day to anybody with common sense the minute she did the PR debacle with the Epstein binder gate that she did. It wasn't about, it was about the way she went about doing it, right? Like to say I have the files and not mean what you say and then look completely unprofessional. That was the first blemish in this administration where all of a sudden people were like, whoa, like, what the hell just happened? It was a PR nightmare and disaster, and it was the first time that credibility in the administration started to be questioned. And yet, for some strange reason, the guy that we know who literally got very famous on TV for saying the words, "you're fired," would not fire Pam Bondi. It was weird to me. I was like, bro, how could you not fire this woman after she just epically failed you on every level and made the entire administration look bad? But then we get about a year later, she finally gets fired. Nothing. Crickets. It's like nobody even remembers that she got fired, and she got fired because she leaked information to Swalwell. So that's the kind of woman that we had as the attorney general for this last year plus. Nobody cares. But we are looking at Swalwell. We're looking at the scandal. We're looking at that. Look anywhere but what they're doing. Don't look at the Iran war. Don't look at what's going on. Make sure you're focused on all the scandal on social media and fight with each other. Divided we fall, man. The last thing they want is any of us to be united. They don't want us focusing on the primaries. They don't want us focusing on the candidates. Just make sure you follow like good people. Whoever the endorsed candidate is, that's who you should vote for. And that's why we don't make progress on vaccines. And that's why we don't make progress on so many things that we've been asking for. We still have faith in somehow that like the Republican Party, even though I would never vote Democrat, I can't, it's impossible. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be doing every effort that we can to improve the conservative side. Instead, Congress has done nothing. They've had the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, the everything, the magical equation that you could possibly want, and yet nothing has been codified. Absolutely nothing. Everything's still under executive order, which means that the minute a Democrat gets elected president, everything that we were so happy about gets taken away with the signature of a pen. And that's why I'm just saying, look beyond. stop looking where they tell you to look and pay more attention to what's actually going on. Stop fighting with each other. I get the 13-year-old thing, I think is a legitimate conversation. It's probably the most legitimate I've heard, because every other one is just, it kind of adds to the distraction, but it's also necessary. And I'll end with this, Marlon. My suggestion is, if we all really care, we should all sign a petition to Elon and X that minors should not be allowed on this app. Period. If you have your kid in your lap and you want them to talk into space and whatnot, that's fine. But if you have kids literally like with accounts and going into spaces or hosting spaces, that is just a nightmare scenario. There is no benefit. And I say this as a father of 2 kids, one of them being 14 years old. In no world is social media good for the mind of a 13 or 14-year-old person who is trying to figure themselves out. When I see adults that can't even figure out how to behave or handle themselves in these spaces, let alone thinking that any 13-year-old, no matter how much amazing potential that they show, has any capability of understanding really anything real about the real world. And I'll end with that, Marlon. Have a good day.
Marlon, I'd like to respond to Paul, if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead, sir.
Paul, I was listening to you there. You were talking about Pam Bondi, and I want you to know, I wanted the group to know, the space to know, I'm one of Trump's staunchest supporters. You'll never really hear me ever say anything bad about the man. Now, Pam Bondi, when she first took office, or when she first was put in her position, I just remember this one interview she gave. I think it was on Fox News, Chuck. When asked about the Epstein files, I believe she said, if I've been correct me, anyone in space, that she had the file on her desk, and I think she had said she'd be releasing it tomorrow. Well, in law enforcement, in the judicial system, once you lose credibility, it's really hard to get it back. Like in law enforcement, if you lie, you're done, because you're the person that's saying this suspect did this. You go to court, they could go to prison for the rest of their life. So it's always really, really, really hard to recover once you lose credibility. And I think that it was just a downhill slide. I believe Donald J. Trump appointed her with the best intent, believing she could do the job. But the AG job is a rough job. Some of these cases we want to see justice for are going to take time because you have so many people involved. You have to prove criminal intent. We watched what they did to Donald Trump under Merrick Garland. How they tortured this guy and they falsely accused him, taking civil matters and escalated them up to criminal matters, like the records in his house. It was really a civil matter. He was just in a dispute. And then you talked about Congress. They haven't codified. You're right. They haven't codified a lot of stuff. And, we see this over and over. When Republicans don't have power, they're crying. You've got to donate to my campaign so I can get in there and I can right all these wrongs that these Democrats are causing. So I just want to touch on a couple of those points that you made, Paul. And I think Jeannie's been waiting really patiently. And unless, Marlon, you wanted to throw something in.
No, Jeannie, sorry about that. How you doing?
Yeah, no worries at all. I was just going to follow up on what Julie was talking about. She stood up there, feels as if she gave, recommendations to someone in the crowd. I tell you what, all bets are off. I've been saying this for 6 years. Our degrees mean nothing. Our licenses are toilet paper. So if you're a doctor or a registered nurse or a nurse practitioner, doesn't matter. Our licenses have been completely and utterly devalued. And so I'm all, quite frankly, with what we still have these COVID vaccines on the market. They're still being peddled in our hospitals. And Marty McCary is a complete and utter waste of energy and breath from an FDA perspective. Their attempts at trying to be transparent and tell us what to do has just blown up in their faces, and all bets are off. So, like, if you're a adult human being and you understand the clinical components of what's going on, party on, man, together. And because our licenses don't matter anymore, then what do we got to lose, right? What can they do to us? Take our licenses away? Hurt my feelings. So we have to rethink this whole thing. Don't be afraid to say, here's what my recommendations are, because it's all really about protecting people and saving lives and getting people the services and help they need. So that's it. Sorry.
Well, I think honestly, I think the community learned a lesson. That's what I really think. And again, let's just take what we understood, what happened, how it happened, and now we know better for the future. So hey, we're not perfect by any stretch, right? You don't know what you don't know. Go ahead, Rusty. How you doing? Welcome up. Good to see you.
I'm doing good. Good morning. Good morning. So there's a bunch of topics here, right? And I guess my thought is I'm just going to touch on each one of them just to throw my 2 cents in case anybody feels like me. So I guess the whole Pam Bondi situation, I mean, it's no surprise. I mean, she nobody was really happy, but he was. It's from the grassroots people that I know that are connected with the administration. Some of them were, well, one of them was J6, and I think the other one, because I mean, like, and I know you guys have heard me say this before, but I think it was, I was trying to figure out who the other one is, and I'm pretty sure it was related to election integrity. But I've heard from 2 separate people that are connected and keeping up with the Trump administration, helping them to kind of maneuver around J6 and election integrity, that Todd Blanche was the cog in the wheel. So I'm like, I think until Trump figures that out and gets rid of him, you know what I'm saying? I think we're just gonna have more Bondi in action, is what I think. I'm still not happy about that picture. I love Trump. I do not regret my vote. You know what I'm saying? We'll say that. I don't regret my vote. When I voted for Trump, I wasn't voting for pastor. You know what I'm saying? Don't like it out, and it kind of aggravates me. People put themselves into pretzels and to make, he's a fallible human being. That's all it is. You know what I mean? He's just a man. And let's be honest, he's got a touch of narcissism. You would have to. Every person that wants to go into public figure, they've got, we all have narcissism. We're all on a scale when it comes to that. And theirs are just a little higher than most. He needs to be knocked down a few pegs, and I'm glad the media pushed back on him on that, and I hope they kind of keep beating him over the head with that. And I guess the other thing, so I was able to hear you guys spoke about that yesterday. Space, you know what I'm saying? Talking about how they're always trying to divert our attention, stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? We don't need any help with that. We do that ourselves. Because I think about that kid, and I think about how many people are on here talking about their ass off Twitter and worry about their own kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are their kids doing in the other room? And also, too, I learned in the space last night. I was actually listening because I didn't have anything else to do in the pieces. But that kid's great on, and because some people have brought up their concern. Well, she had actually spoke to some people and said, "Yeah, I'm into what he's doing or whatever." And I'm like, I don't think people realize how many kids are actually on this app. He's not. I mean, everybody acts like he's. Oh my God, we got to protect him. He's no, brother. There's some of them. Most of them just don't tell you how old they are. I think I can tell some of them in spaces that we all know. You know what I mean? I would not be surprised at all, but I know for a fact he's not the only one. So do you want them, and we can have the more need to get off of here. He just not come in your spaces.
A lot of parents. And for me, for what this space is, for I want. When you go on most of them, they cannot control their no way